Right. Hello. I'm Alex from Heavy Music Artwork. How you doing?
Hi, Alex. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. I was hoping for a bit of sun today, but no.
Yeah, me too. I think it came out for like I could see in my garden. It came for like 10 minutes, so I went and stood outside to get some vitamin D, and then it went away again. Now it's grey.
And are you familiar with Heavy Music Artwork, or shall I do a little bit of an introduction?
I have heard the name for sure. I in in the mail we had from Napalm, it just said snakes, so I googled it and I googled the name of the of your name, and I found the website. So I was looking through it today actually.
Okay. So next is the new magazine. We had a magazine, but because of COVID, the distributor went bankrupt.
Okay,
So I had to start again with a new magazine. So Snakes is the new one, and we just released the first issue, and now we're having another one. But we mainly release books, art books, metal related art books. Anyway, so this interview will be featured in the issue in the second issue.
cool.
Right. So where do we start? Okay, let's start with the names. Um, So whose ideas was it? And do they mean anything? Do they tell a story?
There's a little. I actually only know the backstory between two of them. They're all kind of silly. Um, when our original keyboard player Christopher was on tour in 2008, 2009, something like this, a guy he was on tour with was telling him some story about someone in Scotland who I can't remember where they worked at, like a meatpacking factory or something, but they'd basically gone mad and gone on some like violent spree. Um, but the
Really?
guy's name, yeah, but the guy's name was misremembered as Angus McFife, and he mentioned this to Chris, and Chris thought the name was hilarious. So he started coming up with these fictitious stories about the adventures of Angus McFife, which then became Gloryhammer.
I see. Um, so your name is Zargothrax, Dark Emperor of Dundee.
Yeah.
Uh, is that where you're based in Scotland?
Originally, the band was founded in Scotland, but everyone lives everywhere now. Christopher lives in the United States. Our singer lives in Cyprus. Two of us are in the south of England, and two of us are in Wales.
Oh, okay. Because often in heavy metal bands, especially black metal bands, the musicians they change their names.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a I've been in the music for almost all my life. I still don't know if it's a like an avatar or if it's like a stage name. Maybe
Yeah,
a bit of
for
everything.
this band, because the band kind of has like a long overarching storyline. So each band member obviously has their position as the instrumentalist, but each band member also represents a character in the storyline. So the name Zargafrax, for example, is the name of the chief antagonist in the storyline, and likewise Angus is the hero.
And sorry, what is the overarching storyline?
Uh, well, we have four albums now, so it's getting quite complicated. Uh,
I mean, we can talk about the new one since it's the latest.
well, they all kind of continue from. It's like a very long running story now, four albums, and this is the final album in this part of the story. Um, but a very brief history
Of course, of course.
would be that the evil wizard Zargafrax has overthrown the city or the kingdom of Fife. The hero Angus has to do his best to stop him, and on three separate occasions now he gets fooled by the wizard. So this is kind of round four now with some kind of time loop creativity. It's kind of complicated,
Mhm.
but
Does it help, to frame the albums into stories? Do they help, like, kind of writing lyrics? Because it gives a framework to work with.
yeah,
Otherwise,
for sure. Like for example, with this album, I think it got to a point last year, maybe the middle of last year, where we had like a few songs written, but it wasn't like a completed album, and we just decided it would be quite helpful to just write the storyline. And with that in mind, you can kind of let's say you're missing two songs, but you know this is going to happen in the story. You're like, okay, well, this is like an adventure song, so it should be exciting, or this is a song where something really bad happens, so it should sound kind of evil, or you know.
I was listening to Keeper of the Celestial Flame of Albernathi. Sorry, sorry. And I love the arrangements, the classical arrangements. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a musician, but I really like them. They keep you in the song.
Yeah.
How did you? Because you're the keyboard player. Do you do them with with synthesizers, or do you have a real?
Well, actually, the drummer of Gloryhammer is the guy for the orchestrations. He's a really good. I think he has some classical training. And in the beginning of the band, for the first album, the band hired someone to make these orchestrations. And just before the album was meant to be mixed, we got them, and they were crap. You know, the guy did a really bad job. So there was a moment of panic, and then the drummer was like, "Oh, I think I can do this myself." So he accepted the role of orchestrator. But regarding the sounds, it's a mixture. There's obviously synthesizers, like more electronic synthesizers, and then there's kind of accurately sampled like classical instruments, like orchestral instruments, and we kind of write as they would be written in an orchestra. So you don't have like a violin playing something that's completely impossible. You know, you have a violin and a group of strings, and everything is playing its correct part, as it would be in a real orchestra.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. So what do you do when you play live? Some of it is pre-recorded.
Yeah, that we have to. Otherwise, I would need like 60 arms and 30 keyboards. But
cool. And so you've been working with the same visual artist, Dan. Yeah, Dan. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Dan Goldsworthy.
I've been obviously communicated with Dan throughout the years because we featured some of his
cool.
in our publications. It's really amazing the way he uses color.
Yeah, he's a great.
I love it. It's so distinctive to him, because there are so many artists out there that have a similar take on fantasy art, but his work is Dan. You can tell like 100% when you first see it. So how do you work together? Like
at this point, it's almost kind of completely trust based now, because we worked with him on so much. He's done 4 albums for Gloryhammer. He did a cover for mine and Christopher's other project, Wizard Throne. He's done some albums for Ailstorm. So these are all bands that are linked. So we've had like, and he does all of our merch, or most of our merch designs as well. So we've been working with him for 10 years plus.
Oh, right, yes.
So we know he knows our style, and we know his, and we basically just gave him the brief and just said, do what you want, get on with it.
Okay.
And it was kind of silent for a couple of months. We didn't hear much apart from the occasional like, oh, how do you think about this idea? And then he just sent the finished album artwork, basically finished, and we were just like, yeah, tweak these things a little bit, but otherwise it's perfect.
So what do we see in the cover? There's like
so we have post-nuclear Dundaxian landscape. We have a couple of the characters from the storyline riding these nuclear motorbikes.
What are the names?
You have Zagafrax on the very front, the wizard, and then the Hootsman, the bass player, is following him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically like a post-nuclear scenario, but set 1,000 years ago.
Okay. Oh, I see. And so even though the theme is like fantasy, there's always a return to sort of traditional story themes, like the castle, the knights, the wizards.
Yeah, we blend like fantasy and sci-fi quite freely. One song could be about a piece of technology, and then the next song could be about like a goblin. Like it's all mixed up.
and yeah, the same. I mean, I guess the same goes with the previous albums. It reminds me
Yeah,
a lot of Lord of the Rings.
yeah. I think probably most people in the band are a fan. I don't think it's a direct influence per se, but there's probably a little bit of a kind of. I mean,
Mhm.
if you write fantasy anything, then there has to be a bit of influence from Lord of the Rings, isn't there?
And what would you say is your biggest influence?
When writing the lyrics now, I'd kind of just it's almost gotten to the point now where we've done it enough that the band itself becomes the influence. Like I know where to go with stuff, and I think Chris, the other guy who writes a lot of the lyrics, I mean, he invented most of it, so he obviously has a clear idea of what he wants to do. But I guess speaking for him, if I can, a lot of the influence was growing up in Scotland in the Kingdom of Fife. Um, and actually, a lot of the places that we kind of list in the songs aren't very interesting in real life. You know, if you've ever been to Dundee, it's kind of a grey, boring city, and so I
Okay.
think, and so he was imagining if these, you know, these places as being like crazy fantasy worlds
Mhm.
where you know anything could happen, just mostly out of boredom, and then he turned it into songs.
Newcastle. No, what's the other city in Scotland? Is it
There's Edinburgh, there's Glasgow.
Edinburgh? Edinburgh is. I've never been, but is world renowned to be stunning.
Oh, that's beautiful, but that doesn't feature in Gloryhammer yet.
It would be a shame to destroy it, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's too nice.
It's too beautiful. So what's Dundee like? Is it like an industrial town like Birmingham?
I wouldn't say super industrial, but it's quite like a, you know, it's a typical British city, I would say. It has a very nice university area. I do remember that.
Are you from Dundee?
No, no, I'm from Salisbury.
Oh, okay. And so after you said that this is this new album marks the end of this overarching story. Have you guys given any thoughts on what would be the next chapter?
Yeah, we had quite a excited conversation the other day. Actually, we had like a few rough ideas for years about what we're going to do next, trying to plan a bit ahead. But you know, it's always so far in the future. You can't get too excited because you have to focus on what's coming in front of you. Um, but now, obviously, that will be the next thing. So the other day we started discussing some ideas, and it was very exciting because for the first time, it doesn't really have to be too connected to anything that's happened before. You know, we're free of like this huge cluster of albums, so we can basically do anything. And we started forming some ideas which were like totally new, and everyone's getting pretty excited already.
And post COVID, is it like as a working band? Is it back to the way it was? Meaning, you know,
Almost,
almost. Oh,
yeah,
right, that's good. That's good.
almost. I think there's still. We noticed that people are later to buy tickets. So, for example, we just completed a European tour, and we're just about to embark on a USA tour. Um, and with both times, maybe like 2 or 3 months before the tour is due to begin, you're kind of looking at the ticket sales, and you're kind of like, oh, you know,
Mhm.
is this going to be a disaster? And then 1 month before the tour, everyone suddenly starts buying tickets, you know,
Oh, okay. So
and
people are more
everyone's
careful.
yeah. So I think people, and also I think it works both ways because you see a lot of bands at the moment, especially like American bands coming to Europe, they're canceling their European tours, and I think it's because of that. It's because people are it's working negatively in both ways. The fans aren't buying the tickets early because they think the band might cancel, so they want to wait to see if the tour happens. But
Mhm.
then maybe the band will cancel
Mhm.
because not enough people bought tickets until the last minute, you know. So it almost becomes a game of chicken. You
Yeah.
know, you're seeing if people are going to actually buy the tickets, and so far we've been lucky. You know, people have, and I guess when you actually are doing the tours and people know you will, then maybe you'll sell more tickets because people, you know, didn't get to see another band recently because they cancelled. So
Yeah.
it's still a bit messy. You know, it's not 100% back to normal, but it's getting there.
Are you touring with anyone in particular? Anyone specific?
This USA tour we have coming, we're touring with Ailstorm, who are our kind of label mates and sister
Okay.
band. we share history together.
Oh, that's cool. So it'd be a nice tour.
Yeah. We did the European tour with them as well. So everyone's friends, and it's very relaxed.
Cool. And I just noticed actually that you're in many projects. So you do this full time, I would imagine.
For since 2019, I've been doing music full time.
Okay, so that's nice, because often when I speak to bands, we all have like a job, and then we pursue our passions. Like in your case, the band. In my case, is music artwork. Do you have anything else to add? I run out of questions.
Nothing specifically, I don't think, unless there's anything else you would like to ask.
No, I think that's it. Thank you very much. I planned for half an hour, but we finished sooner than
No worries, man.
Thank you very much, and all the best with the record and the tour. Take care,
Yeah,
man.
I'll try and pick up a copy of the magazine. It looks interesting.
I'll send you a copy. It's fine.
Okay,
Or I'll send you a copy via Andy.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, take care, man. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.